Nuzlocking has become a very popular way to play Pokemon games. The idea of death being permanent, along with banning cheap overpowered strategies, really adds a lot of tension, stakes, and thoughtful decision making to your runs. But can we apply this method of playing Pokemon games to other games?
Yes!
Absolutely. Dark Souls and Fallout 4 are great personal examples of Nuzlocks, or what some might call an Ironman challenge or survival mode run. Today's video will be showcasing a Nuzlocke run on Skyrim. You've probably heard of Skyrim. Came out like 12 years ago and people still can't shut up about it to this day. I've tried many one death reset challenges on this game on the PlayStation 3, but for the first time ever for this video, I'll be doing this on a special edition with all the DLC included, which will be a fresh experience as I've never actually played the DLC before. So first of all, the rule set needs to be clarified. This is a survival challenge, meaning most importantly, death is permanent and you cannot reload a save. If you die, you die.
If he dies, he dies.
Yikes. The difficulty must be set to legendary, as anything below that is trivial. Hell, even legendary difficulty can be trivialised, but that's another thing entirely. This is the basic template, but in the spirit of doing hardcore Nuzlocke challenges, I'll be adding in a lot of extra rules to make this challenge actually interesting and not just a one-sided stomp. 1. Followers are not allowed. Honestly, they just felt cheap and abusable to me, especially as the AI is so dumb as is. Followers allow you to just pay other people to beat your game for you, and that's kind of lame. Especially when they're essential NPC immortal followers. They basically just can't die and could just destroy everyone for you. Obviously, important quests where certain followers are mandatory are allowed, like Serana, because you need to have her following you to beat the Dawnguard DLC. But in this challenge, you're only allowed to utilize her during those specific quests where you have to use her on and nothing else. Conjuration will be allowed as a skill though. For now anyways. Conjuration was pretty damn strong. Rule number 2. Putting perks into alchemy and enchanting is not allowed. Yeah, everyone points at this as being the easy scapegoat of legendary runs. You probably know just how abusable these skills are when invested into, especially late game, allowing you to basically become godly, not to mention the ludicrous bugs that allow you to literally break the game. You can still enchant items yourself, but the enchantments won't be that strong. This also incentivizes you to having to actually buy good enchanted gear from stores, making you have to work for your best gear and preventing you from being absolute god mode. Also, honestly, I'm too lazy to grind my enchanted skill anyways, so that's pretty convenient. And oh yeah, speaking of potions, rule number 3. You cannot consume potions normally. Honestly, potions feel really dumb and cheap. The way you can just freeze time mid-combat and instantaneously chug 20 different potions like you're the Flash to bail yourself out of any situation. Yeah, not here. This also cheapens having to keep your distance and fight smart and using skills like restoration in real time when you could just chuck down 20 different potions. It's alright to use maybe 1 or 2 potions outside of combat, like maybe 1 fortified smithing potion when you need to smith something, but honestly, this never actually came up in my runs anyways. Potions were essentially banned and they were nothing more than just a way for me to make some money. So yeah, I didn't need potions anyways. Rule number 4. No stupid sneak abuse. Look, sneak is game-breakingly ludicrous in this game and in Fallout 4. Need I say more than 100 sneak with 30 times damage bonus while dual wielding daggers? With the fact that you can literally make yourself invisible. Well, not in this run you can't. Sneaking as a skill will be allowed, but I didn't allow myself to invest in it as a skill with perk points. 2-time bow damage is alright, just don't go wild with this and make yourself godly with it. That's pretty much it for the rules. I might have missed out 1 or 2 details or caveats. So with this, the goal of the run is to simply survive, play, do what you want. There is no arbitrary endpoint, so let's get into what went down in my particular run. Now, begin the game and choose your race. There's only really 3 good options I see: Breton, High Elf, or maybe Orc. I usually go for Breton because 25% magic resistance base is so nice, along with a situational but still useful racial power to absorb magicka. Otherwise, you can get pretty roasted by magic attacks if you're playing as something like an Imperial, unfortunately. Combined with a Lordstone, which usually is the best standing stone in the game, in doing the easily accessible Book of Love quest in Riften, this will give you a combined total whopping 65% magic resistance naturally. This is just invaluable in allowing you to basically tank one of the forms of damage in this game. Next, you should decide between light armor or heavy armor. I mean, you could choose no armor, but that's kind of crazy and I don't know why you would do that. Both armors allow you to easily hit the damage cap late game, if you want that, but they do have some differences. Heavy is definitely better early game, giving you more defense, while also giving you access to the best weapons late game, and the ability to improve lots of great stuff like Daedric artifacts. The only real advantage with light armor is that you only need 70 smithing, not 80, so you can just take glass gear, and grinding smithing is actually really tedious. And if you do eventually get your light armor skill to 60, you can get Windwalker, which is very useful. 50% stamina regeneration, especially if you're an archer, is very nice. And another thing is that I guess you can use the Dragon Priest Mask Morkei very well, which is a very useful piece of equipment, especially for mage builds. And it's not that hard to obtain compared to the other really good Dragon Priest Masks. Now onto a quick maths lesson. When factoring damage reduction, the more reduction you have, the more you get out of each additional point of defense. For example, take a shield with 72 armor rating. This will give you about 10% total damage reduction, assuming you were butt naked before equipping it. That doesn't make a huge difference, honestly. Now let's assume that your character already has 350 armor rating or something, giving you around 50% damage reduction. Then you equip that same shield. You now go from taking only 50% of damage to 40% of damage. 50 to 40, that's effectively a 20% damage reduction with that same shield. Keep this in mind. This is why shields are actually pretty useful early and especially useful in mid game, but become pretty pointless later on when you're already at the armor cap. Yeah, block is a super overrated skill despite what other noobs might think, but they are noobs, so don't listen to them. Also, to preface one more thing, one-handed is pretty much king, with very few exceptions. Two-handers and bows cannot compete with the raw damage output of dual wielding. This is fact, this is the truth. Despite what a lot of inexperienced people may think, especially people who go on Reddit, don't listen to them. The damage cap between two and one-handed gets narrower and narrower as your smithing progresses, because smithing is an additional bonus, not a multiplicative one. In the insane dual wielding perks, more than closes the gap between one and two-handed. Being able to attack 35% faster with all attacks while dual wielding, whether it's a one-handed normal attack or a dual wielding attack, while also getting a whopping 50% damage bonus with any power attacks. It's just too good. A dual wielding power attack, which is basically the one where you do triple power attacks in one quick motion, will not only be super fast, but will have the equivalent attack power of 9 normal attacks. Is incredible. Combine this with a whirlwind sprint shout, and it's the clear meta. It will shred everything. It's pretty easy to become really tanky, even on legendary difficulty, but the one annoying thing is that enemies are basically just massive health sponges, and they can just take a long time to kill. Even though they're not that challenging, being able to just shred them with dual wielding is so nice. Okay, side tangent over, let's detail what actually happened in the run. The gameplay starts now and I go to Helgen Keep without getting roasted by Alduin. Now I need to decide on a build. Despite one-handed being king, I want to go two-handed this run, so I actively avoid using one-handed weapons because I don't want to unnecessarily level up in early game. Due to the level scaling, enemies get way stronger as you level up. I do eventually get my two-handed weapon and go to town with it. Just be careful of enemy two-handers as they could be extremely dangerous because of how the stupid kill cam system works, where you can get insta-killed by two-handers without being given any chance to retaliate or block or dodge or anything. You probably know what I'm talking about if you've played this game on legendary difficulty. It's cheap as hell and unfair, but whatever. Soon after I get the bow, which I will be using. I want to focus on light armor, archery, two-handed and conjuration this run. And no, I will not be a stealth archer. I barely use sneak at all, so don't worry about that. My last run was a heavy dual wielding tank, so I want to try something different this run, and destruction just isn't good enough. Escape Helgen with little trouble and make my way to Riverwood, collecting as many alchemy ingredients as possible along the way. They can make you so much money with them, even though I won't be using potions at all. Get the Mage Stone purely to level up Conjuration and Restoration faster. I'll be changing stones at some point anyways, pretty soon. Yo, here's a mine, but I won't clear this place out yet. It's not a bad shout though, the enemies here are easy low levels and the loot is really good for this point in the game. Go to Riverwood and sell all your jank. Get some freebies off of Alvar and do the smithing tutorial because why not, it's free resources. Oh yeah, and sell all the potions as we won't be using them. I do craft a full set of fine leather quality armor. This will have to tide me over for a while until I get to Elven, but I am going to be a bit squishy until then. Especially as I put my first few levels into Magicka so I can reach 150, with the perks going into Conjuration and Restoration. On the way to Whiterun I grind some XP off this giant, dealing crap all damage to it. At Whiterun, do the Carlotta quick quest for some easy money, buy some resources for smithing and some useful spells. Then always go to the Hall of the Dead first, I always do this. There's a quick quest there where you need to give Anders his Amulet of RK. What I do is kill the skeletons, activate the Shrine of RK, and then keep the amulet for myself for now, for a total of 35 extra points to my health. Invaluable for early game. Craft all the potions for easy money and move on. My next move is to go straight to the mining camp outside of Whiterun. If you go straight away, the enemies won't be level scaled that much, and Conjuration will be your scapegoat. The Flame Atronach and even the local mud crabs can actually help you beat all the bandits on the outside. Archery plus the Flame Atronach also beats all the enemies on the inside, so you just need to gang up on the chief. Don't let him touch you, as he can literally insta-kill you with his greatsword. The reason I do this early on is because the loot is huge, and most importantly, you get transmute mineral ore with a boatload of iron ores, allowing you to turn them into gold ores for huge smithing XP and massive money, and even some good alteration XP. Awesome. This will do nicely. I go to Solitude for some shopping, then to Riften for some errands. Riften is great as you get so much speech XP from all the persuasions that you do, some quick quests for loot, and most importantly, you need to do the Book of Love quest line for the Mara for extra magic resistance. It's easy to do, and you just have to run around for a bit until you complete the quest. There's no actual combat involved. Well, after that, might as well go join a Dawnguard while I'm here. Oh damn, I almost died to these random wolves. I need to up my game. You do get a free horse from Riften by doing a quick quest for the guy that you see when you enter, but it's so slow and doesn't outspeed much, which is lame. Next, go to Morkarth to progress the Book of Love quest and do more buying and selling. I made sure to keep spamming transmute while doing all this to multitask, as transmuting does take quite a lot of time to do. Once I'm done, I go to grind my Conjuration up to 55 and some mud crabs, allowing me to cast the bound bow with 150 magicka. Honestly, I end up getting the adept Conjuration perks anyway, so I didn't even need to go that high. Yeah, early game is a bit tedious as it is mostly grinding and preparation, crafting and doing mundane tasks. I do go to the College of Winterhold, do more alchemy and buy adept conjuration spells. complete the Book of Love quest for Mara to finally get that massive 15% magic resistance, which is pivotal for any run. All this grinding has given me so many perks. You know, when you get the feeling you've got so many perks and you just don't know what to spend them on, so you just keep on stockpiling them. For now, I do invest in Conjuration. You can go to Labyrinthian early on and get an Ebony Battle Axe, which is funny. It is held by a Draugr Deathlord, which you do not want to be messing with, but you can simply jump on this big rock and spam your bound bow with infinite ammo and you wreck it. Oh yeah, did I mention that this build ended up relying on the bound bow? Don't worry, it is not a stealth archer build, so I'm not that overpowered. On the way to getting the Lord Stone, there's another mine, so mine all that iron ore, transmute it all, then finally I can grind my smithing. Honestly, smithing is just tedious. It's not even that fun, even with the Warrior Stone and Well Rested activated. I get smithing to 45, and now I've got several thousands worth of gold rings I smithed, and I can finally sell it all and get some good gear. I decided to invest in light armor this run, though there's good arguments for heavy armor, that's usually what I prefer. Finally, get the Lord Stone for massive defensive bonuses. Then I just pay for some smithing training to reach level 50 now and can craft full scaled armor. I don't have much Quicksilver yet, so I'm going to have to settle on full scaled for now instead of the Elven Gilded. But guess what? It's my favourite part. It's finally time to start grinding my armor and restoration skills on some mud crabs. Yay. It's really not fun, but you really do need that survivability, especially on legendary difficulty. After a boring session, the next best step is to do the quest in Riften for the Ancient Knowledge perk. This is so worth it and is incredible. You get a huge amount of loot going through that dungeon, and most importantly, the Ancient Knowledge perk is literally bugged in a good way. The perk basically gives you a 25% armor rating bonus and also fortifies your smithing by 15%. Holy smokes, that is freakishly good. Making your armor way better while also allowing you to fortify even more, making it even better on top of that. I invest in archery before embarking, as the enemies are all big health sponges here, but with conjuration and archery at a distance, you'll be fine. Being able to stagger opponents is amazing, holy smokes. After completing the quest, you can see my armor is noticeably higher now, which is awesome. Now, I don't even know what to do at this point. I haven't actually played the Dawnguard DLC before, so I might as well progress through that. At this point, I can easily beat most of these vampires in this first dungeon. Solid armor and big magic resistance means that they're not going to hurt me that much, so I can just plow through them. Do the next Dawnguard quest line. I reject Lord Harkin's offer because I can't really be bothered becoming a vampire. I just go on with the Dawnguard and I go on to recruit these NPCs. This Nord guy that you recruit as part of the story is really generic. You once again have to go through a dungeon to kill a bear den with a leveled loot treasure chest. Nice. Before progressing further, I clear out this Forsworn mine near Markarth, I think it's called Goldskegger mine, because it's literally full of gold ore. You don't even need to transmute it, it's just gold straight away. Smithing is so tedious to grind, so I do like to level it early on and just be done with it for the rest of the run. I made so much money doing this though, and I bought this ring of eminent archery. Screw having to do enchanting myself. Screw the grinding. Just buy good enchantments. Any more grinding in this game does just devolve into busy work. But I do get my smithing up to level 66 with all this loot, and I can upgrade my gear even more with the Ancient Knowledge perk. Now I'm becoming a beast. I feel bad for holding on to Anders' amulet for so long after saying that I would get it back to him, so I give it back to him. By now you really don't need that extra 10 health. Thank me? No. Thank you, Anders. To reach smithing level 70, I find these smithing books that I ignored until later on, to where I'd actually need the XP more, and then I can finally get some glass equipment. Oh yeah, in this bandit camp, a bandit marauder two-hander almost killed me. That was pretty scary. definitely want to be keeping your distance from these guys until you're at the armor cap. I got frighteningly close to dying also while rescuing that moth priest in the next Dawnguard quest, but luckily I made it out, and with my smithing now at level 71, I can upgrade my armor or weapons to legendary. Let's go! Next Dawnguard quest. Everything was going really easy, travelling with Serana through the castle, big tank plus summons and archery, memes on most of the things here, and oh shit, I actually forgot to do the main quest. That's kind of funny. Completely forgot about that. Maybe I'll do the main quest at some point. Eventually, maybe I'll get around to unlocking dragon shouts and that, and wait, what? I died! Just like that! It was so sudden. I couldn't capture it properly because it happened too quickly, but basically in this vampire castle, I ran over these spikes and I literally died pretty much instantly. I could have actually avoided them, but I never saw them, which was incredibly dumb. By the time I realised I was taking big damage, it was already too late. The thing I realised, just in general, is that on legendary difficulty, traps in general are extremely dangerous and they actually ignore your armor rating, which is why you need to avoid them at all costs. I recorded myself going over the trap after dying, and yeah, it shreds me, even though I have like 300 health and really good armor. Honestly, I was getting pretty bored of this run anyways, and the grinding and crafting was really obnoxious, but yeah, that's the run over. I think it was a good idea to show you the run that failed, because it actually puts a lot of tension when you're watching my video. Like, you don't know if I'm going to complete the run or not. I did, however, do another run after this, and that run was way more fun than this run. I really hope this video does well, as I would really love to show it to you guys. Hopefully the algorithm picks it up. The next run that I did was actually the same rule set as this run, except all crafting was banned. No smithing or improving weapons and armor was allowed. This actually added a huge breath of fresh air, adding more challenge while also removing the boring parts of the run, removing all the pointless grinding, and also just incentivizing you to explore loot and get some good quest items. It was really nice. Hopefully I'll show you guys what happened in that run. And let's just say I actually made it much farther through that run, so you'll actually get to see some high level gameplay. I know I make Pokemon content, but I hope I can do other content too. Stay tuned for the next potential Pokemon and or Skyrim video, and I will see you all next time.